When you look poor, people doubt you before you speak. They measure you by appearances, not by potential. They judge your worth by what you own instead of what you are becoming. This is not cruelty, it is reality. And reality does not care about your feelings. It only responds to your discipline. Understand this. Poverty is not only empty pockets. Poverty is a tired mind, a distracted body, and a spirit that has forgotten its direction. When you look poor, everything feels against you because nothing inside you is yet aligned. Your habits fight your goals. Your comfort fights your growth. Your fear fights your future. Life becomes heavy when you live without structure. You wake up late, you move without purpose, you wait for motivation instead of creating it, and then you wonder why the world does not move for you. The world moves only for those who move themselves. Strength is built when no one is watching. Respect is earned when excuses are abandoned. Confidence grows when you do what is difficult every day without applause. When you train your body, sharpen your mind, and discipline your actions, something changes. Your posture changes. Your eyes change. Your presence changes. And when you change, the world responds. Do not curse the pressure. Pressure reveals who you are. Do not complain about being underestimated. That is the perfect place to grow unnoticed. Use the silence. Use the struggle. Use the pain. Let it harden your focus and sharpen your will. You are not behind. Forged. So stand up straight. Clean your space, control your time, train your body, master your mind, do the work that others avoid, speak less, act more, become undeniable. Start today, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve. Decide now to live with discipline, move with purpose, and act with courage. Take one step forward, then another, and do not stop. The world does not owe you belief, earn it. When you look poor, people doubt you before you speak, and this doubt is silent but heavy. It sits in the way they look past you instead of at you. It shows up in closed doors, delayed responses, and opportunities that somehow never reach your hands. This is not because you lack value, but because the world reacts first to what it can see. Appearance becomes a shortcut for judgment. If you look unprepared, life assumes you are unprepared. If you look undisciplined, the world assumes your thoughts are the same. This is how reality operates. Fast, unfair, and unapologetic. When you look poor, every mistake feels amplified. You are not allowed to fail loudly. You are not given room to experiment. Others can stumble and call it learning, but when you stumble, it is labeled proof. Proof that you are not ready. Proof that you do not belong. And this pressure slowly sinks into your posture, your voice, your decisions. You start second-guessing yourself before the world even gets the chance to judge you. This is how external doubt becomes internal weakness. The danger is not the judgment itself, but how it trains your mind to shrink. You begin to move carefully, speak softly, and aim lower. You stop expecting respect and start settling for survival. Your goals become smaller because your environment keeps reminding you of your limitations. Over time, this turns into a habit. You wake up already tired. You approach life defensively, not offensively. You wait for permission that will never come, but understand this clearly. The world is not against you personally. It is indifferent. It responds to signals. Discipline is a signal. Consistency is a signal. Calm focus under pressure is a signal. When these signals are absent, the world fills the gap with assumptions. This is why looking poor feels like everything is working against you. You are moving through life without armor. Your appearance is not about money alone. It is about order. How you carry yourself, how you manage your time, how you speak when challenged, how you respond when ignored. When these things lack structure, chaos becomes visible, and chaos invites resistance. People trust what looks controlled. They follow what looks stable. They respect what appears self-governed. This is why inner discipline must come before external change, before wealth, before recognition, before comfort. When you sharpen your habits, your presence sharpens with them. When you stop wasting energy, your movement becomes deliberate. When you respect your own effort, it shows in how you stand, how you walk, how you listen. Slowly, without announcement, the weight of judgment begins to shift. The same world that once overlooked you starts watching more closely. Not because it has become kinder, but because your signals have changed. Your silence feels different. Your focus feels heavier. Your energy no longer asks for approval. It demands attention through consistency, restraint, and quiet control. Poverty begins in the mind long before it appears in the hands. Empty pockets are only a symptom. The real condition is a scattered focus, a restless spirit, and a body that moves without command. When the mind is undisciplined, effort leaks in every direction. You start many things and finish few. You consume more than you create. You react more than you decide. This internal disorder quietly shapes your external results. When your mind is tired, everything feels harder than it should. Simple tasks feel overwhelming. Small setbacks feel personal. You confuse exhaustion with destiny and start believing that struggle is permanent. But most of this fatigue does not come from working too hard. It comes from working without clarity, from waking up without a plan, from spending energy on distractions that give comfort but steal direction. A distracted mind craves escape. It looks for noise, entertainment, and shortcuts. It avoids silence because silence exposes lack of control. In this state, discipline feels like punishment instead of freedom. Structure feels restrictive instead of supportive. So you resist routine, even though routine is the very thing that could stabilize you. You tell yourself you need motivation, not realizing motivation is a result of movement, not the cause. Without structure, the body follows the path of least resistance. You sleep when you should rise. You eat without awareness. You sit when you should move. Sluggish, and the mind follows. Confidence erodes not because you are incapable, but because you are inconsistent. You no longer trust yourself to do what you said you would do. That broken trust is expensive. This internal poverty creates external chaos. Time slips through your hands. Opportunities feel random. Progress feels slow and unpredictable. You blame circumstances, but the real issue is a lack of alignment. Your thoughts pull in one direction, your habits in another, and your goals are left untouched. Life feels heavy because nothing inside you is working together. Discipline is not about harshness. It is about order. Order reduces friction. Order conserves energy. When you decide when to wake up, what to work on, and when to rest, the mind stops arguing with itself. Decision fatigue fades, focus deepens. The same day that once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, not because it got easier, but because you became organized. A structured mind does not panic under pressure. It prioritizes, it adapts, it moves forward without emotional noise. This is why discipline changes how life responds to you. When your actions are consistent, results become predictable. When results become predictable, confidence grows, and confidence quietly changes how you show up in the world. Wealth in any form follows stability. Stability is built through repeated, deliberate actions done even when no one is watching. When the mind is trained, the body follows. When both are aligned, effort stops feeling wasted. Progress becomes steady. Resistance lessens. The feeling that everything is against you begins to dissolve, replaced by a sense of control earned through daily structure and mental order. Life becomes heavy when structure is absent, not because life itself is cruel, but because direction has been replaced with drifting. Without structure, your days begin without intention and end without progress. You wake up already reacting to the world instead of shaping it. Time controls you instead of serving you. Hours disappear into small comforts and meaningless distractions, and at night you wonder why nothing moved forward. When there is no structure, motivation is treated like a requirement. You wait to feel ready before you act. You wait for the right mood, the right moment, the right energy, but readiness never arrives on its own. Motivation is unstable. It comes and goes based on comfort, emotion, and convenience. Building a life on motivation is like building on sand. Some days you move, most days you don't, and consistency never has a chance to form. This creates a cycle of frustration. You know what needs to be done, but knowing is not enough. The gap between awareness and action grows wider, and that gap becomes guilt. Guilt drains energy. Energy loss creates avoidance. Avoidance reinforces the belief that you are stuck. Slowly the weight of unfinished tasks piles up, and even small responsibilities start to feel overwhelming. Structure removes this weight by removing choice. When decisions are made in advance, excuses have no place to hide. You do not ask yourself whether you feel like working. You already decided that you will. You do not negotiate with your impulses. You follow your schedule. This is not rigidity, it is relief. The mind relaxes when it no longer has to debate every action. Without structure, effort feels random. You push hard one day and disappear the next. You confuse intensity with progress. You believe working harder occasionally will compensate for lack of consistency. But progress is built quietly, through repeated actions done at ordinary intensity, day after day. Structure turns effort into momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Resistance is what makes life feel like it is pushing back against you. When structure is missing, distractions become powerful. The phone, the noise, the opinions of others all pull you away from what matters. Focus becomes fragmented. You start many things but complete few. Completion is rare, and without completion, confidence cannot grow. Confidence does not come from potential, it comes from finished work. Structure also reveals discipline, and discipline changes how pressure feels. Pressure no longer feels like an enemy, it becomes a signal, a reminder to return to routine, to process, to order. With structure, setbacks do not derail you because your system remains intact. You do not rely on emotional strength, you rely on habit. Over time, structure reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. The mind becomes calmer, not because life is easier, but because there is a clear path through the difficulty. Days gain rhythm, effort gains direction, movement becomes deliberate, controlled, and repeatable, even when conditions are imperfect and energy is low. Strength is not born in moments of recognition, it is forged in isolation. When no one is watching, when there is no applause, no validation, no encouragement, that is where true development begins. Most people wait to be seen before they give effort. They perform only when there is an audience. But real strength grows in silence, in the repetition of disciplined actions done without reward. In the absence of witnesses, excuses become louder. The mind starts negotiating, looking for comfort, searching for reasons to stop early or skip entirely. This is where character is tested, not by how much you can do when you feel inspired, but by how consistently you act when nothing is pushing you forward. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce trust in yourself. Each time you avoid the work that trust weakens. Working in silence builds resilience because it removes dependence on external feedback. You stop measuring your progress by praise and start measuring it by effort. This shift is critical. Praise is temporary. It comes and goes based on trends, opinions, and timing. Effort is stable, it belongs to you. When your sense of worth is tied to effort instead of approval, pressure loses its power over you. Silent work also sharpens focus. Without the distraction of being seen, you are free to refine details. You notice weaknesses, you confront limitations honestly. There is no image to protect, no performance to maintain, only progress matters. This honesty accelerates growth. You improve faster because you are not pretending to be better than you are. Respect is a byproduct of this process. It cannot be demanded and it cannot be rushed. It accumulates slowly, built from consistency that others eventually notice. People sense when your confidence is rooted in something solid. It shows in how you move, how you speak, how you handle resistance. You do not need to announce your discipline. It reveals itself through calm control and steady output. In isolation, you also learn to endure boredom. Boredom is where most people quit. They chase excitement, variety, and stimulation, mistaking these for progress. But mastery is repetitive. It requires doing the same fundamental actions again and again, long after the novelty has faded. This repetition strengthens patience, and patience strengthens will. When no one is watching, you are free from comparison. There is no race, no competition, no need to prove anything. This removes unnecessary pressure and allows energy to be invested where it matters. Growth becomes personal, not performative. You move at a pace that is sustainable, not impressive. Over time, silent work changes your internal posture. You become less reactive, less desperate, less dependent on outcomes. You trust the process because you have lived it. This trust stabilizes your emotions and sharpens your decisions. When challenges arise, you do not panic or retreat. You return to the work. This is how unseen effort becomes visible strength, not through noise but through presence, not through explanation but through. They search for relief, distraction, or someone to blame. In doing so, they miss the lesson hidden in the weight they are carrying. Being underestimated is one of the most misunderstood forms of pressure. When no one expects anything from you, the ego feels wounded. You feel invisible, dismissed, or overlooked. But this position carries a rare advantage: freedom. There is no image to maintain, no reputation to defend, no spotlight demanding performance. You are free to build without interruption. Consistency. What begins in silence eventually shapes how the world responds because discipline leaves traces in every action, every reaction, and every moment of pressure faced without retreat. Pressure is not an obstacle placed in your path to stop you. It is a force designed to expose what is already inside you. When life tightens around you, it is not asking for complaints or explanations. It is asking for a response. Most people interpret pressure as punishment and immediately look for escape. To improve without judgment, to fail without consequence. This is a space where growth can happen quietly and deeply. Pressure reveals habits. Under stress, you do not rise to the level of your ambitions, you fall to the level of your training. If your habits are weak, Pressure will expose inconsistency, impatience, and emotional reactions. If your habits are strong, pressure sharpens focus and simplifies decisions. It strips away what is unnecessary and forces attention onto what truly matters.